Guys, it's Missy. This is gonna be, well, it was originally called the 50 Questions You've Never Been Asked YouTube tag. I'm not gonna answer 50 questions. That would take me forever because, I can't just give a simple, like, one or two word answer. I have to explain everything, and answering 50 questions in that manner is going to take way more time than either one of us has to dedicate to this video. So I circled like 12 of them or 15, I think, and I decided that I was just going to answer those. The ones that I thought were like the most fun, or some of them involve some explanation and some of them are just really simple answers. Look at my super awesome tie-dye shirt. Love the tie-dye. I actually have two tie-dye shirts. One is from when I went to Cooperstown, New York in 2009. We went to the Baseball Hall of Fame, went to the Farmers Museum there. It was really, really beautiful place. And this one is from, I don't know if you can see it, but this one is from Sloppy Joe's in Key West. 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, my mom's best friend, her daughter, got married on a cruise. We went on a cruise to the Bahamas. We went to Port Canaveral, we went to Nassau, Key West, and I forget what it's called, but it's like the cruise lines, like little personal island that's just for their cruise ship people, and that's actually where they had the wedding ceremony. So Key West was one of our stops. There's like 350 days of sunshine in Key West every year, and so of course the day that we stopped there, it was absolutely pouring. So we wound up going to Sloppy Joe's to eat, and then we went on like a trolley tour, and that was really fun. They just sort of drove us all over the place and told us about the history. We saw Ernest Hemingway's house where he has all like the six-toed cats. We saw the southernmost point in the United States. That's in Key West. But so I just threw this shirt on to record because I thought it was very fun and happy. And although I might have chosen like, a less forceful shade of lipstick to go with this shirt, but I just grabbed the first thing I could find. So let's do this tag. Let's see what's fun today. The first question is, what's your favorite candle scent? My favorite candle scent, and this is kind of a weird choice for me, because in general, I prefer very sort of fresh, clean smells. I don't like normally like musky smells or fruity smells. I like rain scented candles, like sort of light floral scents like rose. What else do I like? Oh, like the clean cotton, like fresh linen scents that smells like dryer sheets. But funny enough, my favorite candle scent ever is Yankee Candle Midsummer's Night, which is the black candle, and it's almost sort of like a dude candle, I think. Dude candle. Because it kind of smells like a man, and it's like a musky, cologne-y scent, but it is in its own way a very fresh scent, because it's almost like it's like a very clean man. It's almost like soap and cologne. It's a really strong scent, so like I feel like it's like one of the ones that smells the strongest. Like I hate when I have a candle and I'm just like, I don't even smell that candle. But I don't run into that problem with Midsummer's Night, and that's been my favorite for a long time, like maybe like 15, 20 years. Yeah, so Yankee Candle Midsummer's Night. What female celebrity do you wish was your sister, and what male celebrity do you wish was your brother? Sister, I don't know. I'm gonna come back to that one. But brother, I think probably Kevin Smith. Because he's a big dork, just like me. He's probably, no, he's definitely a bigger dork than I am. But that's okay, because he could teach me the ways of the dorkiness and teach me about geeky things that I don't know about, which is exciting. Actually, my whole family's full of giant geeks, so he would fit right in, which is why I would pick him. Sister, I'm not sure. Maybe like Emma Stone. She seems like she would be fun. Seems like she would be a fun girl to hang out with. Um, like I saw her do that lip sync battle thing on like Jimmy Fallon, so she seems like she's fun, right? If I come up with another answer, I'll let you know. But for right now, I'm gonna go with Emma Stone and Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith, I'm sure of. That is a definite. Because I would definitely hang with him. Plus, I think he'd get along with the brother that I already have. So that's important. How many oceans have you swam in? Is swam the right form of that? I don't know. How many oceans have I swam in? I've swam in no oceans. I do not go deep enough into the ocean to swim. I have waded into one ocean, which is the Atlantic Ocean, because that is the one that is on the East Coast where I live. But I go to like, I don't know that I've ever even been in the ocean like out to like my waist. Like I think maybe like mid thigh, more often probably ankle or knees. I'm one of those people that is creeped out by the ocean because, and particularly like I guess when we were on the cruise that I was talking about at the beginning of this video, when we were in the Bahamas, the water there is super clear. Well, I mean, okay, water is clear everywhere. I understand that water is pretty much usually always clear, unless it's like really, really dirty. But the sand there is white, and so the water looks really blue and beautiful. And you can kind of see down to the bottom up to a certain point. And so I didn't find that water as intimidating. But where we live, or where we go, we don't live at the ocean or in the ocean anymore. But we used to. But where we live, the sand is darker, and therefore the water is darker. And you can't see the bottom, and you don't know what's under there, and you don't, and like things touch your feet. Like I don't know what's there. I don't know what's touching my feet. So that freaks me out a little bit. And also the fact that I can't actually swim. Like I can doggy paddle, somewhat, but like I don't even go in the deep end of the pool. Like 3 feet is like my limit. Maybe 4 if there's 4 feet. Yeah, so I have swam in exactly 0 oceans, but I have waded into one, which is the Atlantic Ocean. What's the worst grade you got on a test? It's funny, and I picked this question because I have always remembered this, because I always, in elementary school, got really good grades. Always was like towards the top of my class. But one year in like the 8th grade, I had been out sick, and we had a test on, was a science test, and it was on like, I want to say like different types of like rocks, like rocks that are made out of fire. And I still don't know. I still don't know because it was a science test, and I'm not a good science person. English, history, writing, things, that's stuff I'm good at. Science hurts my brain a little bit. It's just not, my brain is not wired for science, and my brain is not wired for math. That's not actually probably would be better off in life if it were wired the other way. Like if I could have had like a technological job or a scientific job, I'd probably be way better off financially. I'd probably be way more successful. But I like to do things like this, where I sit in my room and I talk to you about candles. So the worst grade I ever got on a test, it was like a 27, I think. And it was on this science test. And it's not that I didn't study it for the test. It was like I had been sick and I had been out sick. I had like the flu and I had been out sick for like an entire week. And knew that I had to take the test when I got back, and I tried to study for the test. And I was just retaining zero information. So I came back and I took the test, and I knew while I was taking it that my mind was completely blank. I wasn't remembering anything. So I brought the test to the teacher. It wasn't we had our primary teacher, and then we had two other teachers that sort of subbed in and taught different subjects. And so the teacher who taught us science was not our primary teacher. So I had taken him the test, and he sent one of his students down to the primary teacher with the test. And she's like, "Did you study for this?" And I was like, yeah, I did. I did study. I just don't remember any of it. So that was like my worst grade ever, was a 27. But I will say, not to say that knowing those things is not important in life, but it's not important in my life. Like the fact that I got a 27 on a test about rocks when I was like 14, hasn't really impacted my life at all. So I think sometimes maybe that stuff doesn't really matter, unless you want to be in a scientific field. Then you need to know those things and do well at that. Have you read any of the Harry Potter, Hunger Games, or Twilight series? I've read them all. I've mentioned probably multiple times at this point how obsessed I am with Harry Potter. That is hands down my favorite series. The Hunger Games I thought the books were really good. A lot of people haven't read the books, but they've seen the films. I don't know if the films are as good as the books. I thought the story was really good in the books. I thought they maybe shined it up a little bit for the films, and made it less sort of dark and dismal, because sometimes it's really depressing. The books are really sad at a lot of points. And Twilight I read because some years ago, 2009 maybe, 8 or 9, I don't remember. Anyway, it was when the swine flu was going around, and I had the swine flu, and I was in my house for probably 7 or 8 days. Even after I was done like being actively sick and like my fever had broken and everything, I just had zero energy and no desire to go anywhere. And I had read pretty much, I mean, like everything in my house. I was down to reading like catalogs that came in the mail, and like, clothing catalogs or whatever, and like going to the different, like actually reading the descriptions of the different clothes. So my mom had the whole Twilight series, and I finally broke down and read it. It's not well written. It's fun, right? Vampires are fun. Wolves are fun. I really like wolves. I always tend to lean towards the werewolf, like, or like the shapeshifter or whatever the non-vampire, whatever the non-vampire animal or creature is. Like even in like the seasons of True Blood that I watched, which I didn't watch the whole series. I think I watched like 3 seasons, but I always liked Sam better than Bill. Yes, I always tend to lean towards the animal character. Yeah, so that's that. What else? Would you rather have an American accent or a British accent? Honestly, I'd probably rather have an American accent, and I'll tell you why. It's because I love British accents so much. But if I had one, then they wouldn't sound special, right? Like it would just sound like, oh, that's how everybody talks. It would sound like people talking in American accents. So I would rather have an American accent so that I can continue to enjoy British accents as an outsider. And I'm going to stick with that. Although I would like if we used more like British English and British slang in our everyday vocabulary. Like I wish we said things like rubbish instead of trash because rubbish sounds so much cooler. Or like lift instead of elevator. Like their words are so much better. So I do wish that. What's the first amusement park you've been to? The first amusement park I went to that was not, we used to go on vacation to the Jersey Shore, and they have like amusement piers there, like on the boardwalk. But the first like proper amusement park that I went to was Clementon Park, which is in Clementon, New Jersey, and it was sort of like it was like old fashioned. Like they had the scrambler, which I think some people call the Merry Mixer. They had like a whip, old fashioned whip, like a tilt-a-whirl, like an old wooden roller coaster. I haven't been there in years and years, but that was the first amusement park that I went to. My elementary school used to run like a family picnic there every year, so you could we would get the day off of school, like school closed for the day, and you could buy tickets, and they would have like a bus, and you could go on the school bus, and parents went and kids went, and we had like a pavilion where you could bring food, picnic food, or you could buy food there. So that was always really fun. I think they did that every year. I didn't go every year, but I remember it starting like maybe when I was in like fourth grade. But it was always really, really fun. And there were other schools there at the same time. So, what language besides your native language would you like to be fluent in? Italian. And I know the practical answer is Spanish or maybe like Mandarin. But my mother's mother was Italian. I've always wanted to learn Italian. I've been trying to learn Italian since I was 14. Yeah, because I took it as a freshman and a sophomore in high school. I barely passed freshman year, and I did not pass sophomore year. And I don't really remember a whole lot of it, except that I went to Catholic school, all girls, Catholic high school, the first 2 years of high school, and so I do know how to say the Hail Mary in Italian. For some reason, that's something I chose to remember, or my brain chose to remember. And then I actually worked for a company that had like language learning CDs, and I started listening to that, and I think I only made it to like the 5th lesson. One of these days I'll try again. I think it's just I don't focus very well. I'm sort of like all over the place sometimes. Like I'll be listening to the lesson and then my brain's thinking about like 2,400 other things. But yeah, I would love to be able to speak Italian fluently and then go to Italy and be able to actually use the language. This I just thought was funny because I had this conversation with a friend. Do you spell the color as Grey or Gray? I spell it Gray, which I think is the less popular spelling. But for some reason, I like the way that looks a lot better than the E. That's it. That's the only reason. Although also I want to believe that when I was a kid, like the gray Crayola crayon spelled it Gray. And I could be wrong. But I want to think that that is where I learned to spell it, and that that is why I continue to spell it that way. I have Crayola crayons. I'm going to have to take a look at that and see how it's spelled now in 2016. Do you sleep with a nightlight? I don't, but I did until I was 12. I was like terrified of the dark. Well, I was pretty much terrified of everything as a kid. I'm terrified of a lot of things as an adult. So, just imagine like a much younger, inexperienced me, with like 10 times the amount of things to be afraid of. So yeah, I slept with a nightlight until I was 12. And that's that. How many times have you been to the hospital? I have been to the hospital, like to the emergency room, probably dozens of times. Most of the times that I've been there has been because I've had a stupid ear infection. That started in like eighth grade. For some reason, when I was in the eighth grade, I got this ridiculous ear infection and I was like crying. And it was like a Saturday night. And so I had to go to the ER. And I've been several more times since then for stupid ear infections because I always they start to hurt on like a Thursday or a Friday, and I don't know it's going to be that bad. And then it's like Saturday or Sunday, and of course the doctor's office is closed on the weekend, and I'm in like horrific pain, and I'm crying, and I can't sleep because you can't, when your ear hurts, you can't put your head on the pillow. It doesn't work. So yeah, but I've only actually been in the hospital once, like as a like admitted. And that's a really long story. That has to do with my lady condition, which I have no problem talking about. I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, and I had very, very low hemoglobin levels. Like normal hemoglobin levels for a woman is like around 12, and mine at that point was 5. So that's not right. They were actually really impressed that I was able to walk into the ER by myself because my hemoglobin levels were so low. But so I had to be admitted, and I got 4 units of blood. And when I got back up to hemoglobin level of 9, they were able to release me. So I was there like a day and a half. That was kind of sucky. Hospitals suck, and I don't know how people get better there because they don't let you, they're like, oh, you just need to rest. How? How am I supposed to rest when you're in here? Like every time I doze off, you come in and you like poke me with something or stick something in my ear to test my temperature, or it's like a whole thing. It's like not conducive. Hospitals are not conducive to rest. And the lady next to me was like a little out of it, and she was like screaming the whole time. So that was no fun. Do you usually remember your dreams in the morning? Yes, not necessarily in detail, but I will say my dreams are super vivid. It's almost sort of like watching a movie or like a TV show. I'm like surprised my dreams don't have credits. And sometimes they're so realistic, like that I think I do, like I have like lucid dreaming, like where I kind of know that I'm dreaming. But sometimes the dreams are so realistic that I don't even realize that I'm still dreaming. Like I think I'm awake. And so I might not remember like every single detail, but at the very least, I remember the general gist of the dream. And this one's just super random, but I thought it was fun, which is, what flavor tea do you enjoy? I like chamomile tea, and I like peppermint tea with honey, not sugar. Even though the lady who runs the British import store that I used to go to when I lived in Jersey, she says if you're going to drink herbal tea, you should put a little bit of sugar, like real sugar in it, because it brings up the flavors better. And I have tried that, but I just honestly prefer the honey. So that's what I usually do. Chamomile tea or peppermint tea with honey, and I like to make peppermint iced tea. Like I'll make the tea and I'll put the honey in, and then I'll put it over ice, and that is really delicious. You should try that with the I said peppermint tea. Um, yeah, so that is it for that. I just wanted to do some fun questions so that I could have some talking points and have another video to put up. Um, you guys should tell me what you like. You should tell me your favorite candle scent or your favorite cup of or type of tea, or what is the first amusement park that you went to, and is it still there, and is it super cool, and should I maybe think about visiting, because I do love me an amusement park. I especially love like an old-fashioned amusement park. Like if it has a wooden roller coaster and an old carousel and like a scrambler and a whip and stuff like that. Like, oh, what's a good one? Oh, Knoebels, up in Pennsylvania. I went there. That's where my best friend used to go when she was growing up, and she took me up there a few years ago, and I love it. It's just amazing, old-fashioned amusement park. I'm sure like it hasn't changed a whole lot since she used to go there as a kid, but I think that's probably what's so great about it. So if you have any really cool amusement parks by you that you think I should visit, it's totally down for taking a road trip. So leave that in the comments. And I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.